because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives a sickness. With the police, all the fandoms teaming up against this shit. The movie is trash, you have to admit. The entire fan base looks like Chris. The Spider-Man movie is better than this. You claim the crown, but your orbit is weak. Just a rerun sci-fi nobody seeks. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives a sickness. Smell like my toilet after a nice big poo. Stealing the spotlight with a plastic crown. One blast from my phaser and your kingdom goes down. Getting cancelled is our biggest wish. Now the animators are washing the dish. Regular dudes are who you hate, but for an apology it's already too late. Netanyahu is going to bomb Clitopolis. You might as well just take the piss. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives a sickness. Fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives a sickness. This movie so shit it's creating world peace. Even the black people are friends with the police. All the fandoms teaming up against this shit. The movie is trash, you have to admit. The entire fan base looks like Chris. The Spider-Man movie is better than this. You claim the crown, but your orbit is weak. Just a rerun sci-fi nobody seeks. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives a sickness. my phaser and your kingdom goes down. Getting cancelled is our biggest wish. Now the animators are washing the dish. Regular dudes are who you hate, but for an apology it's already too late. Netanyahu is going to bomb Clitopolis. You might as well just take the piss. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives us sickness. Fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives us sickness. This movie's so shit it's creating world peace. Even the black people are friends with the police. All the fandoms teaming up against this shit. The movie is trash, you have to admit. The entire fan base looks like Chris. The Spider-Man movie is better than this. You claim the crown, but your orbit is weak. Just a rerun sci-fi nobody seeks. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives us sickness. Smell like my toilet after a nice big poo. Stealing the spotlight with a plastic crown. One blast from my phaser and your kingdom goes down. Getting cancelled is our biggest wish. Now the animators are washing the dish. Regular dudes are who you hate, but for an apology it's already too late. Netanyahu is going to bomb Clitopolis. You might as well just take the piss. All the fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie's so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white malians watching gives us sickness. Fandoms unite because we're hating on lesbian space princess tonight. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Don't let the mister turn into a mistress. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. This movie so ass it resulted from an incest. Lesbian space princess, lesbian space princess. Straight white Malians watching gives us sickness. This is the Shunga Bunga song!
Was being in prison kind of fun?
Fun. No, I wouldn't say fun.
Like, what was kind of cool about it? I've always wanted to go to jail.
You know, there's this old saying that you don't go to jail to make friends. And I made some lifelong friends in jail. Mostly named Gambino, Lucchese, Bonanno,
Okay.
Genovese.
So a lot of good storytellers in there, I bet.
Listen, those guys were so honorable. I learned so much from those guys in just 23 months.
Wow.
Lessons I'll carry with me forever. Real honor. It's funny, the Italians were the smallest, they call them gangs in prison. The Italians weren't a gang. I'll use the word gang just for the purpose of this response. They were the smallest gang in the prison, yet commanded the highest level of respect.
Really? More than the blacks and the Latinos?
The blacks and the Latinos were always at each other's throats,
Right.
and they had, like, for example, it was Crips and Bloods, and there was this uneasy peace between them just because it's not worth upsetting the apple cart. And everybody goes to solitary and then gets spread out all over the country. For the Latinos, it was far more complicated because it was borrachos, norteños, Latin kings, MS-13, the Mexican mafia, and then the individual cartels. So overall, there's one gigantic Hispanic prison gang called Pisces. And then within Pisces are all the different divisions.
Gosh.
Yeah, and the Pisces, if you were Hispanic, you were automatically in Pisces whether you liked it or not. And you had to work out every single day
Oh, that's pretty good.
for the coming race war with the blacks. Right. And the whites are like, we have nothing to do with this.
Yeah. I would just want to do it just to get in shape. But
Yeah.
sometimes you need motivation.
We had Aryan Brotherhood.
What's that? What are they doing? What are they up to?
You know, Aryan Brotherhood of Texas is far more violent than Aryan Brotherhood, and they're not, it says there right there, they're not connected. I never met anybody from the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. Aryan Brotherhood at a low security prison just wants to sort of, you know, go along to get along.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stay out of my way, I'll stay out of yours. My very first day in prison, my very first hour in prison, when the guard dropped me off in my cell, the only thing he said to me the whole time I was, you know, checking in and getting processed was, if somebody comes into your cell uninvited, that's an act of aggression. And I said, great, thank you. I've been here 40 minutes. I'm going to get my ass kicked now. Sure enough, as soon as he left, these two guys walked into my cell, just walked right in. One of them had a swastika that took up his entire neck and then came up onto his face. And the other one had "fuck you" tattooed on his eyelids.
Oh, yeah. That check. I mean, that's, yeah.
And so I jump up, I go, what do you want? Because I thought, you know, if I'm going down, I'm taking one of them down with me at least. What do you want? And the one with the swastika, he says, you the new guy? I go, yeah, so?
This sounds like a story from like the 1940s,
Isn't
John.
it awful?
This
It
doesn't
was,
sound
I
real,
said in
bro.
my second book, prison is a combination of 7th grade, The Lord of the Flies, and a mental institution.
Amen.
And it's set in the 1950s.
That's hilarious.
So I go, what do you want? He goes, you the new guy? I said, yeah, so? And he goes, I'm standing there like this. He goes, you a f***? And I go, no, I'm not a f***. He says,
And they were bummed out?
you a rat? No gays allowed. You a rat? I said, no, I'm not a rat. You a chomo? I go, I don't know what that word means. He goes, Chomo, child molester. I said, no, I'm not a child molester.
That's good.
And then he says, you can sit with the Aryans in the cafeteria. And I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm with the Aryans now. But then a couple of months later,
Simple rules.
I was across the hall from a captain in the Bonanno family. And he said to me one day, he goes, let me ask you a question. Why do you sit with those Nazi retards every day? And I said, I don't know. I said, my first day here, they just told me to sit with them. And he goes, from today, you are with the Italians. And I said, it's about time.
That was it. Yeah.
Took you long enough.
You got drafted.
Yeah. But they were the best.
Yeah, but a lot of
best.
good stories, dude. Any good story come to mind from somebody you like a good story you heard in prison?
Yeah, there's one. You're going to think less of me, and I don't care.
That's fine. I could tell you some stuff. That would probably make it even.
There was a guy in my housing unit who was a serial killer. He was called Truck because he drove long distance trucks from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he would pick up prostitutes at truck stops, and he would rape them and murder them, drive them a couple of 100 miles down the highway, and then dump the bodies out. So the cops estimated that he killed 14. It was probably more than that. But he strangled one and she survived. And she was able to give the cops the license number. Now, this was in the days before DNA testing. So this guy...
Before DNA testing?
Yeah, this was in the 70s.
Oh, he'd been in for a long time.
He was doing life.
Got it.
So for reasons that were never clear to me, this guy constantly sought my approval. He was full of shit. He would come up, he had the worst breath because he had just these blackened, rotten nubs where that used to be his teeth. And he was saying,
That makes
he
my
goes,
fucking dick soft,
oh,
dude.
it was awful, awful.
Oh.
He goes, you CIA? And I said, yeah, I used to be. He goes, I did work for the CIA. I ran a shrimp boat full of weapons to Angola. I go, get the fuck out of here. I didn't know he was a serial killer. I go, get the fuck out of here. Shrimp boat to Angola. Have you ever been on a shrimp boat? And I walked away. People are looking at me like, are you crazy? Do you know who that is? Well, I didn't know who it was. So instead of making him mad, it just made him more actively seek my approval. So I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, yeah.
And he would say, hey, John, the Steelers are the featured game of the week. I saved you a seat in the TV room. I'm like, thanks, Truck. I'm like, okay. John, I know you listen to classic rock. There's a new classic rock station, 1600 AM. You should check it out. I'm like, okay, thanks, Truck. In the meantime, there's this guy we called Cat in the Hat because he had this oddly elongated head, like a birth defect, kind of giant Cat in the Hat head. And he comes up to me one day and he said, hey, I heard you had an empty bunk in your cell. I want to move into your cell. I heard it's a good cell. And I said, well, not so fast, buddy. I said, we don't allow any pedophiles in our cell and no rats. I said, what's your crime? He goes, murder for hire.
And no
I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
But the other guy, I can't speak for the other guys.
Yeah, I was trying to be a part of the group, you know? But go on.
So he says, in murder for hire. I said, I don't think I like that any better than the pedophiles or the rats. What were the circumstances? And he said, I owed the mob a lot of money, $100,000 in gambling. I couldn't pay it. So I took out a life insurance policy on my business partner and I hired a hitman to kill him. And the hitman got caught. I said, let me think about it. Well, think about it. I went straight to the law library and I looked up his case. And that wasn't it at all. It was true. He owed the mob $100,000. He took out the life insurance policy. He hired the hitman. He got caught. Because of course he's going to get caught. Where's the first place the cops are going to go?
Where the money went.
And he ratted out the hitman so that he wouldn't get the federal death penalty. Instead, he got 20 years.
Oh.
So I said, no rats in the room. So he was mad at me. Anyway, one day, Jake Tapper comes up to the prison to interview me. And I get called down to the lieutenant's office. Normally, if you're called down to the lieutenant's office, it's to go to solitary. If you come back, usually it's because you ratted somebody out. Well, I went down there to sign the waiver so I could give Jake Tapper the interview. So I'm sitting in the TV room next to Truck. Truck was very, very sensitive about being called a chomo because that girl that he strangled was 16, which technically made him a chomo. Right? So Truck's sitting here, I'm sitting here. Right here is Cat in the Hat with his back toward me. he's on the computer. There's like this internal internal email system. He doesn't see me. I'm sitting 18 inches away from him. And then he says to the guy next to him, "Do you hear? Kiriakou got called down to the lieutenant's office." He goes, "That guy's a fucking rat. He went down there to rat us out." And I just sat there watching the game. And then Truck says, "That fucking guy just called you a rat." And I said, "An hour ago, I heard him call you a chomo," which was a total lie. I just made it up. He didn't say a single word. He just stood up, walked over here, and beat this guy almost to death. They had to land a helicopter in the yard to life flight Cat in the Hat to Pittsburgh. They gave Truck 5 more years. And
Cat Scan in the Hat, huh?
yeah, it's Cat Scan in the Hat. See, now how come I didn't think of that? Because I'm not a comedian. I should have put that in my book.
I don't know. Is there any real value in me thinking of that? That's a good question. I don't know.
6 weeks later, Cat in the Hat is finally released from the hospital. He comes. He's all fucked up still. And he's like this. Somebody had told him what had happened. He goes, I wanted to say I'm sorry for calling you a rat. I should never have said that. And everybody stops to look to see what I'm going to say. Well, what am I going to say? Forget it. It's all water under the bridge. I go, "Listen, look at me. Look at me." And he lifts his head up. And I said, "So help me God, if I ever hear my name cross your lips ever again, you're dead. And there won't even find you." "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." So everybody's like, the CIA guy's tough after all. But I said in the book, one of my rules that I learned at the CIA, let others do your dirty work. And then I get called down to the lieutenant's office again. Because as he's beating him, I sat back down and I'm watching the game. Everybody else runs. As soon as there's a fight, everybody just runs like cockroaches.
That's insane, though, man.
Right? So I'm watching the game. "Kiriakou, lieutenant's office, immediately." They always do it the same way. It's like they're caricatures of themselves. So I go down there. And the one of the lieutenants, there are 2 of them, and he says, "So, tell us about this fight." I go, "What fight? What fight? You're going to be a smart guy now." I said, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." "The fight. We had 4 cameras showing you saying something to that crazy person, and then he got up and beat the other guy." I said, "I was watching the Steelers game. I don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, you're not going to tell us about the fight?" I said, "You know what? Maybe I will tell you about the fight. Maybe it was you that started the fight. Did you ever think of that? Maybe it wasn't me. I was an innocent bystander. Maybe you put them up to fight each other. I think I might make a complaint against you." He goes, "Get the fuck out of my office." And I wrote in my book, rule number 1, admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. And as I was walking out, I just said, exactly.
Dang, bro. I don't even know what to think anymore.
You know, I figured
Sometimes that's where you get people to that point. You're like this, you know.
they
it's
pushed
like,
me and pushed me and pushed me. And at sentencing, the judge sentenced me to a minimum security work camp. And the CIA was furious that I got such a light sentence and I was going to a minimum security camp. So the CIA intervened to send me to a low security prison, which is an actual prison with the double
Why'd they do
walls.
that?
They were furious that
the CIA was?
when I was first charged, I mean, this is a potential death penalty case. 3 counts of espionage for talking to ABC News and the New York Times.
Because you were talking to him about torture, right? What cases specifically were you talking to him about?
Abu Zubaydah. And they were furious because nobody had ever confirmed that there was a torture program. And I said it was illegal. Besides being immoral and unethical, it's illegal. You want to torture people, God bless, but you got to change the law first.
Right.
We're a nation of laws.